G'day guys and girls, how you going? It's your boy Jaybull 1990 and welcome back to my real life stories video. Now, before I get started, the gameplay is Call of Duty Ghosts. I have got my PS4 up and running, but before I start anything, the gameplay is extremely bad. I don't know if you guys remember me saying in the last video, but I've just started. Call of Duty still is really buggy for me. It seems like every single new version they bring out is worse and worse and worse. I was really good on Modern Warfare 3, I got really good on Black Ops 2. Call of Duty Ghosts just isn't doing it for me, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm definitely gonna get better. It's just I'm not even first prestige yet. I'm only level 32 in this gameplay, or 31, but I do really bad. But I tried playing for a couple of hours, tried to get some gameplay. It didn't work. But if you guys want to add me on the PSN, PlayStation 4, my game tag is Jaybull 1990. That's where I get my gamer tag from. So this story is kind of a creepy one, actually. It's completely real. I'm being completely honest. I try to choose the most wackiest, unreal stories that I could ever like remember from what's actually happened to me, and this is a real life story. Have you ever had one of those moments where you see someone, you see someone in your life and you talk to people, or you come into contact with someone who you swear you've met before? You've talked with them and you introduce yourself to them, and it's like meeting them for the very first time. But as you do, you think to yourself, I've met this person before. Well, that's exactly what this story is about. Now, I'm not going to reveal the end of it. I'm going to wait. I'm just going to tell you guys, wait to the end. It is a very messed up. You guys won't guess the ending. Okay, so it begins at my job when I was working as a personal trainer. I'm currently not working there anymore. Different story. But as I was working there, I used to meet clients. Like when I was working there at this gym, I would meet new clients every single day. I would meet so many people. Within probably about a month, I would meet at least 100 brand new people. So I met this guy. His name was, I won't use his real name. His name was, let's just call him Mr. M. Okay? And Mr. M was in his late 50s, I believe. He was a very peculiar man. He was pretty skinny, and what I do before I sit down with all of my clients is I sit down and I have to do a medical examination with them, and I go through this checklist just so, as a fitness professional, I'm sure that I'm not going to provoke any reoccurring or previous injuries. If they got diabetes, a heart condition, all that kind of good stuff, all bad stuff, to make sure that I'm not going to prolong or worsen any injuries. That's my job. I have to make sure that I'm trying to benefit and make this person healthier, and I have to find out all these things about this person. So I sat down with Mr. M and had this big long talk about some of the main questions, the common questions I have to ask people is, what do you do for a living, what have you done throughout your whole entire life, played any sports, injuries, all that kind of stuff. And the answers he was giving me were very weird. I'll just say that. I asked him the first thing. He was almost like one of those people where he didn't want to get to know you. Like, he was very guarded. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, Mr. M, how you going, mate? Just sitting down with him. So, what do you do for a living? Can you tell me what you do for a living, or are you retired, or what's going on? And he didn't answer me. He just stared at me for a minute. I'm like, you okay? Is everything okay? And he says, I don't know if I want to tell you. I'm like, why don't you want to tell me? He's like, I just like to keep my personal life private, like my personal life personal. I'm like, okay, that's fair enough. But does it evolve into physical activity? You don't have to tell me what it is, that's fine. But does it evolve into physical activity? He said, sort of. And I said, well, I kind of need like a basic yes or no. And he's like, yes, it does. I'm like, okay, great. Any heavy lifting, all this kind of good stuff. Just prodding and prying. And eventually he told me, and he's like, I'm a postman driver. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, what the hell is so bad about that? And we start talking, and he tells me about the hours and stuff he works, and he tells me that he stays up he gets home very late. Like, he works overnight, so he'll work from about 6 p.m. till 6 a.m., which is the complete flip opposite to what most people are like. Like, I've always been used to working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I started talking about previous injuries, medical conditions, all this kind of stuff he might have, and he was just like, no, just denying it all. And he seemed pretty fit. Like, he didn't seem like a very unfit guy. And he said, I just want to start coming to the gym to improve my health and fitness, and mainly because my wife has been upset with me. And I was just like, I wasn't I was kind of like, okay, well, why is that? Why is she upset with you? And he started to explain that she doesn't like it that he's always home late, that he's always getting home in the mornings, and he's always, he's always working overnight, and they never get to spend any time with each other, all that kind of stuff, and that he wanted to improve his health and fitness for her. He didn't really give any reasons why. He just wanted to improve his health and fitness, maybe to make her happier, maybe to, get things going. I just didn't know. This guy was so peculiar with the answers that he would give me. He would never really give me a straight up answer. So anyway, we kind of just left it at that. I found out what type of injuries he didn't have, what he may have had, all these tiny little major and minor inconveniences, whichever it may be. So with Mr. M, I started to see him as a regular client for about a couple of weeks, and every time he would come in for a session, he was very, very, I don't know how you would say, he was very, very neat, I guess you could call it. I don't really know if you'd call it neat. He was very, I don't know, I really don't know how to explain it. He was just very weird, he'd always bring in this very specific towel, folded up very neatly, always in really high short shorts, like really, really high short shorts with the socks that would come up halfway between his knees and his ankles. And he would only drink lemon water. All this really, really bizarre stuff. I really didn't understand it. But, I'm not one to judge. If he likes his lemon water and his high socks and his little short shorts, he can do that. I don't know if that might have been the fashion sense of the gym in the 50s or something. I don't know. But, anyway, so the type of exercise we were doing was very, very basic stuff. He wasn't a strong guy. He wasn't extremely unfit. So it's just really basic stuff, really lightweight training, integrating with some cardio, all that kind of good stuff. And every session that I had, he would start to get a little bit more comfortable with me and start to tell me more about his life and what his job's like and all this kind of stuff. And, I started to talk to him, have you got any kids? What have you done with your life? All that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've got, he would answer, yes, I have a son. He's traveling the world right now. He's in this country, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, me and my wife, we just live at home in, I won't say the town either, but he lives in the same town that I did. And going back to what I was saying before about how, you swear you've met this person before, it rung another bell. I'm like, man, I swear I've seen you or met you or talked to you before. I'm thinking that in my head, but I just couldn't pin it. So I was like, okay, whatever. Just kept talking to him about it, and he's talking about, he'd tell me about these holidays him and his wife used to go on, and he seemed like a really great guy, really normal, but very guarded, and I was a little bit concerned about that. And one day, he'd come in, and it was about 6 a.m. in the morning, right when the gym opened up. He'd come in, and he was tired. He was really, really tired, because he would have just come just from work. Imagine that, guys. Imagine sleeping all day, waking up at 6 o'clock at night, when most of us are having dinner, and go to work until 6 o'clock in the morning, and then going straight to the gym. It would be tiring. So he got there, and I was just like, hey, Mr. M, what's up? And just talking to him, getting him ready for the exercise, but I could already immediately see that something was wrong with him. He was just tired or whatever it may be, and he was just like, he was just very down. He's like, yeah, I'm okay. Okay, Mr. M, that's great. You ready to do our workout? I've got everything ready. We're gonna get started. Yeah, okay. Just really down. I'm like, yeah, come on. I felt like, just come on, just saying, come on, man, cheer up. So we started working out. We actually started walking on the treadmill, and I was going to incline it, increase the speed, go on from there. We started to walk on the treadmill, and then all of a sudden he kept walking, but his head just dipped down, like his head just dropped, and he just looked at his feet as he was walking. And I put my hand on his shoulder, like on his back. I said, "Are you alright?" And he just didn't answer for a good second or 2 seconds, and like 1, 2, he just didn't answer. And he snapped his head back up. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, are you sure? You seem pretty tired. Did you want to stop? Did you want to get off for a second? No, I'm good. I'm like, okay. And he just started randomly talking to me about what's going on with him and his wife. They had an argument the night before and all this kind of stuff. Things got heated. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's probably what's got him down. Pretty weird session. Pretty weird, workout. It was, had to get him through it. Toward the end of it, he was almost like he was going to throw up. He started dry heaving and just acting very weird. And then it kept getting on my mind. It kept making me think, I swear to God, I've met this guy before. I swear I have. And anyway, I forgot about it. Didn't see him for a couple of days. And I was at the gym about 3 days after that. I was at the gym, and my brother went to the gym that I used to work at. And I hadn't seen him in about 2 weeks because he was in America. He actually went to Disneyland. I'm not making that up either. He went to Disneyland with his wife and his kid, and he come back, and I was like, hey man, what's going on? Talking to him, catching up with him, just sitting there on the gym floor talking to him. And as I'm sitting there talking to him, I'm just talking to him about all this kind of stuff. And as I'm sitting there, I'm standing right in the big gym hallway. If any of you guys know what gyms look like, it's like the gym hallway. I'm standing there, and as I am, Mr. M walks by, and he walks by behind us. And as he's walking up behind us, I seen him out of the corner of my eye, but I didn't want to break conversation I was having with my brother, you know, that'd be rude. Just want to continue the conversation. I was going to go talk to him later. Anyway, as he's walking by, my brother stops, looks at him. He's like, "Oh, hey, Mr. M, how you doing? How you doing, sir? You know, hadn't you stopped?" And Mr. M stopped. He's like, hey, you know, my brother. He's like, hey. I'll just call him Jay, because his name starts with J. And he's like, "Oh, hey, you know, Drew, how you going, mate? How's your kid? How's your wife?" And all this kind of stuff. I'm standing there, I'm like, what the fuck? I know this guy. And then it all just clicked in. It just clicked. And I went silent. I kind of just went all quiet for a little bit. And then he walked away, and my brother said, "How do you know Mr. M?" And I said, "He's my client." And he said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, I just looked at my brother, me and him both looked at each other, we went silent, and I said, "Is that?" And he said, "Yep." And I said, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yep, that's him." I'm like, no way. Now this guy was my brother's neighbour for about 6 years. And this guy was known throughout the whole entire neighbourhood. The very first time I met him at my brother's place, we were at a barbecue at my brother's place, and I was looking over the fence, and I could see these two people in this window arguing. And it was Mr. M arguing with his wife, and as I looked closer, his wife was a fully dressed mannequin. I am not lying about that, guys. His wife is a stationary mannequin just off like I Am Legend or something. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave it a like for crazy Mr. M. I apologize about the gameplay again. I know it wasn't the best, but blame Mr. M. He's been really tripping me out about this. So add me on the PSN, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Enjoy it, leave a like, share it around with your friends, and I'll see you guys for the next episode.